Another cup of Maxwell House coffee, George?
Sure. Pour me a cup, Gracie.
You know, Maxwell House is always good to the last drop.
That drop's good, too.
Yes, it's Maxwell House Coffee Time, starring George Burns and Gracie Allen. With yours truly, Toby Reed, Bea Benaderet, Lois Corbett, Joseph Kearns, Lou Merrill, Harry Lubin, and the Maxwell House Orchestra, and Bill Goodwin.
For America's Thursday night comedy enjoyment, it's George and Gracie. And for America's everyday coffee drinking enjoyment, it's Maxwell House. Always good to the last drop.
Well, if any new fad comes along, you may be sure that Gracie will fall for it. Her latest enthusiasm is handwriting analysis, and we find her now telling her friend Blanche Morton all about it.
I tell you, Blanche, it's absolutely uncanny. This man can tell you all about yourself just by looking at your handwriting.
You don't say.
Yes. All I did was send him my signature, and he told me the most intimate thing.
What'd he tell you?
He said, "You are a woman."
No.
Yes. That's all he tells you for $1. Then you send him more money, and he tells you more.
Gracie, if you ask me, this handwriting expert is a charlatan.
Yeah, isn't he wonderful?
I mean, you shouldn't send him any more money.
Oh, but wait till you hear what happened when I sent him George's handwriting. He analyzed it and decided that George shouldn't be in radio.
I was wrong. Send him more money.
Oh, I will. He said George's writing showed that he had the delicate, sensitive hands of a surgeon.
A surgeon?
Uh-huh. That's a doctor who wears a mask and carries a knife.
Thanks.
Just think, George is a surgeon and doesn't know it. Blanche, are you busy this morning?
No, why?
Would you let George operate on you just to get the feel of it?
Gracie, you don't just suddenly become a doctor. It'd be years before George could open up an office.
Well, I don't care about an office. I want him to open up people.
I mean, he has to study to become a doctor.
Well, that won't take George long. His natural instinct is to be a doctor. He's only stayed in show business because he had to give me a job. That's the only reason he's in show business.
What?
It's true, it's true. I've heard dozens of people say, if it weren't for Gracie, George wouldn't be in show business.
Yes, but what they meant
No,
was...
it's my fault, Blanche. My fault that George isn't a doctor. So it's up to me to release his natural instinct. And you can help me.
He's not going to carve on me.
Uh-oh. I hear him coming down for breakfast. Now, when he walks in, you act like a patient, and we'll see how he reacts. Stick out your tongue and all that.
Well, I'll do it, but it's silly.
Here he is.
Good morning, dear. Oh, hello, Blanche.
George, take a good close look at Blanche.
Before breakfast?
Yes.
Okay. Well, right back to you.
George, Blanche did that to show you how she feels.
Well, I feel the same way about her.
Don't you think she looks a little peaked?
Yes, her head is very peaked.
Give him another look, Blanche. What do you think she should take?
Arsenic.
Write that down, Blanche.
I told you this was silly, Gracie. I'll see you later.
What kind of a routine was that?
Well, did it stir something deep inside of you?
Yeah, but I'm going to try to eat anyway.
Very well, Doctor.
Huh? Doctor?
Well, how does that sound to you, dear? You like me to call you a doctor?
Yeah, but you better call one for yourself, too. What's this all about?
Well, I sent your handwriting in to be analyzed, and you're in the wrong business. You have the hands of a surgeon.
What?
Your handwriting has revealed the inner you, the real George Burns. You were never meant to be an actor. That's why people laugh at you. Become a surgeon, put on a mask, and they'll stop laughing.
Gracie, you have to go to school to be a doctor. You have to go to school for 8 years.
Well, then you're practically a doctor. You've already gone to school for 7 years.
Now, look, just because some handwriting expert said that I was supposed to be a doctor, that doesn't make it so.
Oh, I took no chances, George. I checked it to make sure.
Checked it? How?
By numerology.
Oh, well, that makes it authentic, yeah.
Well, sure. You see, your name, George, and Doctor, Doctor, both have 6 letters. That means you vibrate with a doctor.
There are also 6 letters in Dancer. Suppose I vibrate with a dancer.
Well, you better not let me catch you.
Gracie, listen to me. Even if all this hokum were true, I couldn't become a doctor now. I'm too old.
How old are you?
I'm 10 years older than you are.
Since when is 29 too old?
I'm too old to go to school.
But think of the thrill of being a great doctor. I can see you now performing a delicate operation. Maybe a brain operation. Maybe on me.
If I thought there was a chance of that, I'd go to school.
Oh, good. A few months of schooling and you'll be a great doctor. Why, you can be John Brother Hopkins.
Forget it, honey. Show business is my racket. Listen.
Oh, how do Mr. and Mrs. Audience? It is now my time to perform, and I'll present to you a little review in style, originality, and form.
That's what I've been giving people for years.
Well, so now become a doctor and make them well.
Gracie, I've tried to be patient and explain things to you. Now I've had enough. Understand?
Yes, dear.
I don't want to hear any more about this doctor business.
Yes, dear.
I'm going down to the cigar store. Goodbye.
Goodbye, doctor.
Oh, no.
I knew George wouldn't go for it, Gracie.
Well, Blanche, I still say all he needs is to have his doctor instinct aroused. And that's why I dropped by. I'm on my way to the hospital.
The hospital?
Well, I'm going to offer George's services. Once he gets inside and smells the ether, boom.
You mean he'll be like a bird dog who smells a bird?
Yeah, or a police dog who smells the police. Then he'll go to school and become a doctor. Oh, I'll be so proud of him.
Gracie, doctors are wonderful, but I don't think George will ever be one.
He will, too. Oh, I can see him now, dashing around in his delivery trunk, delivering babies. Relieving suffering, giving tall people high pose and short people low pose. You know, George might even discover a new germ.
Oh, Gracie.
Well, they discover new ones every day, like that germ that makes people drunk.
What germ makes people drunk?
Streptococcus?
Gracie, George couldn't even be a witch doctor.
He could, too. You just bring him a sick witch. Well, I'll see you later, Blanche. I've got to get to the hospital.
May I help you?
Oh, how do you do? This is the largest hospital in town, isn't it?
Yes, this is the general hospital.
Well, I'd like to speak to the head man. Is the general in?
There's no general here.
Oh, well, then I'll speak to the private.
There's no private either.
There must be. His name is right on that door. Private ward.
Miss.
If he's busy, I'll talk to someone even lower. Lieutenant.
We have no military personnel here. Perhaps I can help you.
Well, I want to offer my husband services.
Is he a doctor?
Well, he's going to be. That's why I wanted to work here.
I see. Has he taken medicine?
Tons of it.
Perhaps you'd better talk to Dr. Powell. He's the hospital superintendent. You'll find him in the experimental laboratory down the hall.
Thank you.
How's your experiment coming along, Dr. Powell?
Well, I've gone as far as I can, Dr. Reynolds. I've tested this serum on guinea pigs and monkeys, but I can't find a man to volunteer for a test.
Exactly. What will the serum do?
Well, if it works, you live to be 100.
And if it doesn't?
No one knows. That's why I can't get a volunteer. I've advertised in the paper. I've offered money. There doesn't seem to be any man brave enough to risk it.
Maybe you can find a condemned criminal who...
I'm in.
Dr. Powell,
Yeah?
I'd like to offer my husband services.
Ah, at last a volunteer.
You can use them, huh?
Oh, yes. Sit down and let's fill out these vital statistics. Name?
George Burns.
Sex? Oh, but I know what that is.
Well, you should. You're a doctor.
Yes. What's his height?
5'8", or 5'10" after a poker game.
5'10" after a poker game?
Well, he tiptoes in so I won't hear him.
I see. Weight?
Now, I'm not sure what it is now. Sometimes he weighs as little as 140 and sometimes as much as 170.
Well, I'll put it somewhere around the middle.
Oh, good. That's where he puts most of it.
Where was he born?
In New York. He was raised on Pitt Street.
I see. He grew up on the east side.
He's no freak. He grew up on both sides.
Yeah. Now, one question about his physical condition. Are his nerves steady?
I don't know. The rest of him wobbles quite a bit.
Well, I'll substitute another question. How long has he been married to you?
15 years.
Steady nerves. Mrs. Burns, send your husband right over. We'll be waiting for him.
Oh, all right. Just one thing, Doctor. Be sure to let him smell plenty of ether.
Well, I really prefer to give him some local anesthetic.
Well, I don't care where it's made. Just give him plenty of it.
Gracie, I just had to run by and see how your plan to make George a doctor is working out.
Oh, I thought you'd be anxious to hear about it, Blanche.
Oh, sure, I'm all ears.
Well, don't worry. When George is a doctor, he'll trim them down for you. And that won't be long now. I got him a job at the General Hospital so he can smell the ether.
What kind of a job?
Well, I don't know. It's in the experimental laboratory.
Well, gee, that's where they work with microbes and bacteria. I hope George doesn't bring any home.
Oh, Blanche, you know he wouldn't steal.
What will George say about this job?
Oh, I won't tell him about the job. I'll trick him into going to the hospital, and his instinct will do the rest.
Well, you better start tricking. Here he comes up the walk.
Now, watch how I handle him, Blanche.
Hello, dear.
Hello, George. Well, aren't you going to speak to Blanche?
Oh, sure.
That's nice. Well, as I was saying, Blanche, this doctor wanted George to sing at the General Hospital, and I said, well, doctor, he hasn't got time to...
Wait a minute. At the General Hospital? Sing? Me?
No, please, dear, I'm talking to Blanche. So I said, my husband is much too busy to sing at a hospital.
Hold it. Somebody wanted me to sing and you turned them down?
Yes, yeah. Dr. Powell called from the General Hospital. He seems to think your singing would help the patient.
Well, he's right. I've been writing her a letter to Virginia where I met her. And now I feel better because I know I'm going home. You see, Gracie, a voice like mine is soothing. It eases pain. It's like a shot of morphine.
You're not kidding.
Who's the morphine? When George gets to the hospital, they'll have a real dope.
Yeah, now, where'll I find this Dr. Powell?
Well, in the experimental laboratory.
Well, don't expect me back until late. I'll probably do about 8 or 9 of my routines. I'll see you later. I'm writing her a letter.
Oh, you know, I hated to trick him, Blanche, but it's worth it. Someday he'll be a great surgeon.
That'll be the first time a ham ever did the carving.
Have you got my serum ready, Dr. Reynolds?
Yes, Dr. Powell?
Good. Mr. Burns should be here soon.
Gee, I can't understand why a married man would be willing to take such a risk.
I can. I talked to his wife.
Well, if he shows up, he's the bravest man I've ever seen. Why, this serum could...
Come in.
Dr. Powell?
Yes?
I'm George Burns. Understand you want me for a little routine.
Ah, did you hear that, Dr. Reynolds? What a magnificent understatement. Ah, you're a brave man, Mr. Burns.
Well, I used to get nervous, but I'm an old hand at this. I've been through the mill.
Yes, you do look like you've been used frequently.
Yeah, I'm a veteran. I can do anything.
Well, I think you'll find today's job a little different.
That's right, Mr. Burns. You're taking the place of Powell's guinea pigs.
That's okay. I once took the place of Madame Burkhart's cockatoos.
That's the time I laid an egg.
Hey, you can do anything.
I whistle, too, you know.
Well, before we start, let's check your condition. Dr. Reynolds, would you take his pulse count?
Certainly. 1.
Do we have to bother with this? I'm raring to go.
Oh, we admire your spirit, Mr. Burns, but you must realize that you might die.
Not with my material.
Well, of course, we do have hope.
Hope? You better put me on ahead of him. He's tough to follow.
Oh, what a man, jesting at a time like this.
2. By the way, Doctor, where do we do this at?
Oh, right here in the experimental laboratory. It's our largest room.
Good, good. I like a big audience.
Is it all right with you if all available doctors and nurses watch the performance?
Sure. Be glad to hand him a thrill.
I'm writing her a letter.
Mr. Burns.
Where I met her.
Mr. Burns.
And now I feel better, 'cause I know I'm going home.
Mr. Burns, we can postpone this if you're in pain.
I feel great.
3.
3 already? I must be nervous. My pulse is fast today.
Hi, Gracie. So how come you're going in the hospital?
Oh, hello, Bill. I'm going in to visit George.
What's the matter with him?
Oh, he isn't a patient here. He's inside smelling the ether.
What for?
Well, I'm trying to get him out of radio.
Well, I won't do it. He's still in radio, and he's been smelling up the ether for years.
You don't understand. You see, George is meant to be a doctor, so I got him a job in the experimental laboratory. Come on in and see him.
Well, okay, Gracie. I love to go into hospitals, you know. I always catch something.
You like that?
Well, sure. You ought to see the nurse I caught yesterday. Well, come on, let's go.
Just a moment. Where are you going?
Well, we're going to the experimental laboratory.
I'm sorry. They're about to conduct an experiment. You can't go in now.
But it's important.
I have strict orders. No one admitted to the laboratory but doctors and nurses.
Oh, did you hear that, Doctor?
Yeah. Come on, nurse.
Wait a minute. Are you a doctor?
Oh, sure. Dr. Goodwin, Hollywood's fastest operator.
Where do you operate?
Well, mostly in Griffith Park.
Griffith Park?
Yes, he does a lot of cutting up there. Come on, Doctor.
One moment, Mr. Goodwin. I've seen you around this hospital before. You were chasing one of our young nurses.
Oh, well, yes, I wanted to have a consultation with her.
That's ridiculous. The girl was just a beginner. She'd had no experience.
Oh, no? Then why did she run?
Yeah. Come on, Doctor.
Just a minute. I can't believe that he's a doctor. I doubt if he'd know a sore throat from a maternity case.
Oh, you're wrong. Maternity cases are his specialty. Well, just yesterday, he cured a man who had a very bad case of maternity.
What she means is that this expectant father was very nervous, you see. The poor guy was pacing the floor saying, will it be a boy or a girl? Will it be a boy or a girl? Then I walked out and handed him that little gift from heaven, and when he saw what it was, he cried, hallelujah, just what I wanted.
What was it?
A cup of Maxwell House coffee. I always give it to anxious fathers. There's nothing like a steaming, fragrant cup of delicious Maxwell House to set you right.
But what about the man's wife? What did she have?
Well, she had a cup of Maxwell House, too. Everybody gets it who's a patient of Dr. William Goodwin, MMB.
MMB.
Manizales, Medellins, and Bucaramanga. You see, Maxwell House is a blend of choice Latin American coffees, radiant roasted to the peak of flavor perfection. Good to the last drop.
Mr. Goodwin, I've heard enough. You're not a doctor, and you can leave this hospital.
Oh, come on. Let us go into the experimental laboratory. We just want to see my husband, Mr. Burns.
Why, he's the man who's being experimented on. They're giving him a new serum, and if it works, he'll live to be 100 years old.
Ooh, well, gee, no wonder they picked George. They won't have to wait long to see if it works. Well, I'll be right
Gracie. Tell him hello for me.
But did you say they're experimenting on Mr. Burns?
Yes, Dr. Powell is making a guinea pig out of him.
Well, I've got to stop him. I don't want a husband who oinks.
I'm sorry, you can't disturb the experiment.
Well, Mr. Burns, we're just about ready to begin.
Swell.
How is his pulse count, Dr. Reynolds?
I'm still taking it. 7.
That will be enough. Our audience is assembled, so let's get started. Mr. Burns, will you remove your clothes?
That's not the kind of act I do, Doc. You should have gotten Gypsy Rose Lee.
Oh, what courage, joking right up to the last minute.
Ah, Mr. Burns, time is short. Take your clothes off.
Well, do I have to?
Yes.
Well, okay, if you insist, but shouldn't we save that for a sock finish? I can't top that with ain't misbehaving. What? Look, let me routine it for you, Doc. I'll open like this.
Ain't misbehaving all by myself. Ain't misbehaving. I'm happy on the show bed.
Mr. Burns.
Gonna talk to
Mr.
Saving my love. Oh, baby, love you, really saving love you. I know.
Well, then I'll go into my Frisco step. I brought my derby hat.
Mr. Burns, remove your clothes.
Well, okay, but at least give me a fan.
Mrs. Burns, I've explained that you cannot go into the experimental laboratory and interrupt Dr. Powell.
But it's my fault that my poor husband is in there. He doesn't know what he's getting into.
I have strict orders.
My appendix. Quick, take me to Dr. Powell.
He won't remove your appendix.
He already did. I want it put back.
Oh, I'm sorry, that won't get you in.
No, huh? Let me go in there, quick. I'm going to have a baby.
In the experimental laboratory?
Well, yes, this is my first one, and it's an experiment.
Mrs. Burns, it's no use.
Well, look, tell the doctor to give me the serum. I love George. I can't let anything happen to him. Let me take his place.
Bad, Dr. Powell.
Yes, a shame it didn't work out.
Well, don't let one failure discourage you.
I'll try again, Dr. Reynolds.
Oh, Dr. Powell.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Burns.
Is it over?
Yes, it's all over.
How is my husband?
Mrs. Burns, I hate to tell you this, but
But what?
your husband is as nutty as a fruitcake.
Did you give him the serum?
No, we couldn't catch him. He's in there running around with nothing on but a derby hat singing Ain't Misbehaving.
Oh, my goodness. He is crazy. He looks awful in a derby hat. Oh, I better take him right home. Oh, good night, dear. Happy dreams. Oh. George, you're mad at me because I tried to make you a doctor.
Oh, how can I stay mad? You did offer to take my place when you found out the experiment was dangerous.
Well, sure, I love you.
Well, you wouldn't love me so much if I were a doctor. Their wives get no romance.
No burning kisses?
No, sir. Doctors don't have time for that. All a doctor's wife gets is a fast peck on the cheek.
Well, then I'm glad you're an entertainer. Good night, dear.
Good night.
George, kiss me again.
Okay.
Good night, Doctor.
Well, Gracie, next week our guest star will be that sensational movie menace, Richard Widmark.
Richard Widmark. Oh, he's wonderful.
Yeah, that's the kind of part I'd like to play, a heartless killer.
George, with a movie star here next week, I'll need a new outfit.
Oh, yeah? Well, try and get it, huh? You're talking to a big man. A killer. I'll give you nothing.
George, buy me a new outfit.
Yes, dear. Good night.
Good things. Do you like good things the easy way? Then get instant Maxwell House coffee.
So good.
So so good. True coffee flavor and fragrance because Instant Maxwell House is not a so-called coffee product. It's all pure Maxwell House coffee in instant form.
I'm so easy.
So easy. Instant Maxwell House means great coffee instantly in your cup. No fuss, no muss, no bother. Today, try Instant Maxwell House. Instantly good to the last drop. Until next Thursday, when we will have as our guest Richard Whitmark. Good night and good luck from the makers of Maxwell House, America's favorite brand of coffee. Always good to the last drop.
Please turn the cassette over at this point to begin side 2.
Let's meet the people who live in the Burns house, George and Gracie.
As we join the Burnses today, we find them in a downtown department store taking advantage of a February clearance sale.
Oh, these clearance sales are wonderful places to save money, George.
Yeah, I guess so. What do you need?
Oh, just little odds and ends. Do you want to get some things for me while I look at bath towels?
Sure.
All right. Here's a pencil. Make a list.
Okay.
A sink strainer.
Sink strainer.
Paring knife.
Paring knife.
Pot holders.
Pot holders.
Floor wax.
Floor wax.
Mink coat.
Mink coat.
Potato masher.
Wait a minute.
Dish rag.
Wait a minute.
Paper towel.
Hold it. How did a mink coat get in there?
Oh, you noticed it, huh?
I noticed it.
Oh, I thought if I buried it in the middle of the list, you might buy it before you realized it. Forget it, huh?
Forget it,
Well, is it all right if I get an old beat-up second-hand mink coat?
A second-hand mink coat?
Yeah. I'll be about the 15th to wear it.
Who wore it before?
14 minks.
Gracie, I wasn't born yesterday. What do you take me for?
A mink coat, I hope.
Well, forget it. Now, let's buy those other items on the list. How many potholders do you need?
14.
What kind?
Mink. I'll sew them together.
I said forget the mink coat.
All right, dear.
Now, where shall we go first?
The fur department. I want to make a phone call.
Make it from here.
But up there, I can make it for nothing.
Really?
Well, sure. You get a free call with every mink coat.
Gracie, you're not getting me into the fur department. Now, let's go on the elevator and we'll do our shopping.
Going up, step back in the car, please.
Where are the kitchen utensils?
Kitchenware's on the 4th floor. Step back in the car, please.
We're packed in here like sardines now.
Yeah, and my back itches. Would you scratch it for me, George?
Sure. There. How does that feel?
Fine, only a little to the left.
I'm sorry, I got the wrong bag. There. How is that?
Fresh.
Again, I missed.
George, my back still itches.
I'll try once more.
Oh, that feels wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome, lady.
You did it? Then whose back am I scratching?
Mine, and take it easy. Your nails are very sharp.
Start the elevator, will you?
Second floor, ladies' shoes, hats, gloves, and dresses. Going up. Third floor, ladies' fur coats.
Oh, I think I'm going to faint. Quick, George, take me off the elevator.
Ain't on the next floor. That's kitchenware.
Oh, I'm passing out.
No, you're not. Just staying right here.
Sir, your wife has fainted.
You mind your own business.
Are you just going to stand there with an unconscious wife?
Why not? I've been doing it for 14 years.
You carry her off this elevator or they'll be carrying you off.
Okay. Try a piggyback. Never mind, I got her now. One side, folks.
My goodness, what's happened?
This lady fainted.
Oh, where am I?
You're in the fur department. Shall I throw some water on you?
No, just throw a mink coat on me.
Okay, Gracie, you tricked me into the fur department, but you're still not getting a fur coat.
You're just in time to see our fashion show. The models will parade by here in all our latest fur creations.
We're not interested. We're just leaving.
And then they remove the furs and model dresses.
Sorry, we're in an awful hurry.
And then they remove the dresses and model lingerie.
I guess we can stay a few minutes. Have them hurry with the fur show.
Here comes the first model. This is lovely Siberia Kolinsky.
How do you do, Miss Kolinsky?
Kolinsky is the name of the fur. Oh, however, if you're the friendly type, the second model is Gloria Perkins.
Oh, that Perkins fur is lovely.
Perkins is the name of the model. Oh, now, this next one is Broadtail.
That's nice fur.
And here's a perfectly divine number. Note the full sleeves at extreme length. It took 12 beavers to make this coat.
Really? How long did it take them?
The beavers contributed their skins.
Well, it's beautiful. Oh, and it feels so soft.
Gracie, get your hands off the coat.
Oh, I just want to stroke it, George. I won't hurt it, George. I just want to
Take
stroke
it
it,
easy,
George.
Lenny. Take it easy. You know, this is awfully pretty. Maybe I was hasty about not getting you a fur coat. How much is this coat, miss?
Only $4,300.
Miss, you know that water you were going to throw on me?
Yes?
Well, you better throw it on my husband. He's fainted.
Now, Gracie, ever since you got me home from the store, you've been after a fur coat. The answer is still no. No. Now you're turning on the tears, huh? Suppose I'm a brute. Suppose I treat you like a dog.
No, you don't.
Of course not.
A dog has a fur coat.
Oh, stop.
Everyone has a fur coat but me. Cats have fur. Rabbits have fur. Even you have 3 hairs on your chest.
Gracie, if you
Think
don't...
of my help. Buy me a fur coat so I won't have to go around shivering in the snow.
Doesn't snow in Los Angeles.
Then buy me a fur coat and a ticket to New York.
I refuse to discuss it any further.
Well, I read in the paper about a woman who caught pneumonia just because she didn't have a fur coat. Caught pneumonia and died. Better have your black suit pressed, George. George, marry again, but not too soon. Remember me a while. And George, take my insurance money and buy yourself a fur coat. I don't want you to go the way I'm going. Forget it, huh?
Forget it. Now go get lunch ready.
You're all right, dear.
What a woman I married. Oh, well, it's better than doing a skating act. Come in.
Howdy, little man.
Oh, hello, Mr. Judson. Say, I wish I had some of that Texas oil money of yours. Gracie wants a fur coat.
Why, shucks, down home I got one for my wife and it didn't cost me nothing. I just went out in the woods and shot some rabbits.
And you made her a coat?
Yep, beautiful mink coat.
Mr. Judson, you can't make a mink coat out of rabbit fur.
These was Texas rabbits.
Oh, I forgot everything is better in Texas.
You bet your life. Why, Texas is better than the other 47 states put together.
I'm surprised you admit that there are other states.
Oh, why, sure. Them 47 states are the USA.
Right.
The United Suburbs of Amarillo.
Mr. Judson, USA means United States of America.
Yankee propaganda.
I guess so.
Now, you do what I done and shoot your wife a fur coat. Of course, it was easy for me because I'm a dead shot.
I just drawed a bead and plugged that rabbit 4 times. Well, if you're such a good shot, why did you have to plug it 4 times? I done it a purpose. I knew I was going to make a coat out of it, so I shot in the buttonholes. Now, take it easy. What? Man, where I come from, that's just ordinary shooting. We got fellas in Texas can shoot the yolk out of an egg without touching the white. Mr. Judson. That's why they sent all the soldiers down there to be trained. During the war, that state was just full of happy sacks. Happy sacks? Don't you mean sad sacks? In Texas? Oh, they're happy in Texas. Oh, I lost my head.
Hello, Mr. Judson.
Howdy, little lady. Say, I was just telling your husband how I went hunting and got enough animals to make my wife a fur coat.
Why, that's a wonderful idea. George can do that, too. How did you get them, Mr. Judson?
I knocked them over with my Remington.
Oh, hit him on the head with a typewriter, huh?
Hit him on the head with it. Listen, Gracie, just because Mr. Judson shot a fur coat for his wife doesn't mean I can do it.
Well, why not?
Well, he's good. That guy can shoot a rabbit blindfolded.
Well, so could you if you saw a blindfolded rabbit.
Suppose I shot a couple of rabbits. Would you be satisfied with a rabbit coat?
George, I'd rather have a rabbit coat from you than a mink from Saks.
Really?
Can I have a mink from Saks?
No.
I'd rather have a rabbit from you.
I see. Well, thanks. Come in.
Hello, Gracie. Hello, Joe.
Hi, Dr.
Oh, Dr. Miller, I'm so glad you're here. You're a psychiatrist. Now, maybe you can reason with George.
What about?
Well, I could have a fur coat if he'd go out in the woods and get the rabbits, but he doesn't think he can.
Why, of course you can, George. It's the law of nature that man should wear the skins of animals because he's more intelligent.
Yeah, huh?
Certainly. That's why Gracie can wear a rabbit skin coat. If the rabbit was smarter than Gracie, it would wear a Gracie skin coat.
I never thought of it that way. Hey, a hunting trip might be fun. Would you like to come along, Doc?
Oh, I'd love to. I've got a wonderful shotgun, new automatic type. You just insert a magazine.
Oh, isn't it wonderful? You can hunt and read at the same time.
What are you thinking about, Doc?
I'm just wondering how a rabbit would look in a Gracie skin coat.
I see what you mean. Come in. Hello.
Oh, hello, Meredith.
Hiya, Mayor. Would you like to go hunting with Doc Miller and me?
Oh, you bet I would, George. As a boy back in Mason City, Iowa, I used to take the shotgun and head for the woods every Saturday with Sport trotting by my side.
Oh, good, good.
I can still hear Papa's tender farewell. Be careful and don't shoot yourself, son. Those shells cost money. Look, Meredith. George, would you like to hear an exciting thing that happened to Sport and me one day?
No.
Well, sir, we were hiking through the woods. Sport was frisking about, licking my hand, when suddenly he stumbled upon a rattlesnake. With a startled cry, he yelled, "Meredith, save me from the reptile." Well, sir...
Wait a minute.
Your dog said that? Well, Sport isn't a dog, he's my brother. Well, sir, you said he was licking your hand. Yeah, I've been eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Well, sir, goodbye, Meredith. George, you don't wish to hear the finish of my story?
No.
Very well. I'll plan on going hunting with you.
Good, and you don't have to worry about shooting yourself. I'll pay for the shells.
Thank you. Goodbye, all.
Goodbye, all. What are you thinking about, Doc?
There goes another skin for the rabbits.
Yeah, that puts him 2 up on us.
Well, perhaps we can even the score on this hunting trip, huh?
Well, why don't you invite Mr. Judson and Bill Goodwin to go along?
Oh, good idea. I'll bet that Judson's a crack shot.
Oh, not as good as George. I remember the time George went hunting with a bird dog, a pointer, and a setter at his heels, and a big sack over his shoulder to carry the game in. He only fired 3 shots, but when he got home, that sack was full.
What was in it?
Bird dog, a pointer, and a setter.
I can't understand how that happened. I've got eyes like a hawk. Why, I'll bet I could take a gun and put a bullet right in the middle of that mouse hole.
What mouse hole?
Right there in the corner.
That's a fireplace.
Well, Doc, my car is at the garage being tuned up. While I go after it, you call the other fellas.
Your car's all ready, Mr. Burns. Look at the way I tuned up that motor.
Swell. I'm going on a hunting trip this afternoon, and wait a minute. You're the fellow who's been giving me trouble for weeks now. You always had a different job, and you always lose your temper.
Only because I was a poor, frustrated soul, pushed into jobs where I didn't belong by the fickle finger of fate. I say, but now that I'm a mechanic, I do things that really help people.
Good.
Why, I ground your valves. I scraped your carbon. If you want me to, I'll adjust your gasket.
No, my gasket is fine.
I'm so happy with this job.
Glad to hear it. Let's have my keys, please.
Being a mechanic has taught me a lot about life, too. Life is a piece of machinery, and we're all parts of it. Some of us are cogwheels, some of us are spark plugs, and some of us are just nuts.
That you are.
I'm so happy with this job.
Please, my keys.
I put this engine in tip-top condition. When you drive off, it'll surge with power.
Good. Let's have the keys.
You'll be able to pass everything on the road. You'll go by You'll go by enough.
Okay. Right by everything. Now give me the keys.
I'm so happy with this job. I can see you now zooming along faster and faster. 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Wait a minute. Driving that fast is very dangerous.
I won't drive fast. Give me the keys. I'll drive fast.
You might lose control. You'll skid. You'll go off the road.
I'll go 5 miles an hour. The keys.
You'll crash into a tree and be thrown out of the car. You'll land on your head and get a concussion.
I'll ride a bicycle. The keys.
You may recover, but for the rest of your life, you'll have blinding headaches. And all because the garage made me tune up this motor.
I'll use skates. My keys.
Well, I want no part of it. I'll quit this lousy job.
Please, let me have the keys.
And give you a concussion? Never. I'll take my monkey wrench and break this motor.
One second. Wait a minute.
I've kept you from having a headache. Bye.
Oh, now, George, calm down. Bill says we can take his car on the hunting trip.
Sure, you can take mine, George. I do lots of hunting in my car.
Where do you hunt, Bill?
Up and down Hollywood Boulevard.
Oh, but there's no wildlife on Hollywood Boulevard.
Oh, silly girl.
This is a different kind of hunting we're going to do, Bill. So for once, get your mind off women.
Well, okay, George. From now on, I'll concentrate on Mother Nature and the trees and the flowers.
Good.
Are you an outdoor lover, Bill?
Oh, yeah. Not bad indoors, either.
Bill, can't you think about something besides women? Think about animals.
All right, George. I'll think about those soft little creatures running around in Griffith Park and... Oops, there I go again.
This guy is murder. Now look, Bill, do you want to go hunting or don't you?
I do, George, I do, but it's hard for me to forget women.
Oh, bother the women.
Oh, don't suggest that. He'll never go hunting.
You're not kidding. Come in.
Come on, Mr. Judson and Meredith, and I ready.
Yeah, I'm hankering to do some shooting.
Me too.
Yeah.
Now let's get going. I want to shoot some rabbits.
You think you can hit one, little man?
Oh, George is a wonderful shot. He can shoot from the shoulder or he can shoot from the hip.
Yeah. I can't wait to get out there and take a couple of pot shots.
Shoots from there, too, huh?
Let's go.
Oh, boys, you're doing fine. I've almost got my fur coat.
Yes, George is the only one who hasn't shot anything.
Yeah? Well, watch this. There's a rabbit at the foot of that tree.
Oh, wonderful. Now I've got a hat.
A hat?
You knocked the bird's nest out of the tree.
Let's move on to another spot.
Well, you'll soon have your coat, Gracie. I've got 5 rabbits. How many you got, Doc? 7. Meredith? 9. Jetson? 12. George?
Oh, shut up.
Gracie, George is becoming more and more depressed about his poor marksmanship, but I think I've got a plan to restore his self-confidence.
Oh, what is it, Doctor?
Well, you take the rabbits that the rest of us have shot and go around behind that big rock. Now, we'll tell George that there are rabbits on top of it, and every time you hear him shoot, toss one over the rock.
Oh, and he'll think he killed it.
Exactly. I'll tip off the others and we'll get started.
George, look. There's a rabbit on top of that rock. Where? I don't see it. It's there. Shoot. Okay. Well, I'll be darned. I hit it. It fell right at my feet.
Hey, there's another on the rock, George.
I don't see it.
Go ahead, shoot.
Okay. Again, I got one.
Yonder's another one, George. Same spot.
Where? I can't see.
Never mind. Just shoot.
3 in a row. Boy, I got eyes like a hawk.
There's another one, George. See right there on top
Never mind, I can see it. Hey, I'm terrific. Bang, and I've got a rabbit. Another one? But I didn't even shoot. I just said bang. Well, I'll be hanged. Wait a minute. There's something phony going on here. Bang, bang. I thought so. Who's behind that rock?
Nobody but us rabbits.
Gracie, come out of there. Making a fool of me in front of everybody.
Now, don't blame Gracie, George. We were all in on it to help you.
Yeah, we were. I don't need your help. You can all go home and leave me here alone. I'll get my wife a fur coat.
Well, when will you be home, dear?
I'm not leaving these woods till I've shot something.
Well, at least come out in November to vote.
Never mind. Just run along.
All right, dear, and whatever you shoot, I'll wear it. Oh, George, I knew you could do it. I'm so proud of you.
Are you really happy with what I shot?
Oh, you bet I am, darling. I'll be the only woman in town with a cowskin coat.
Bill Goodwin speaking. The Burns and Allen Show has been a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education.